very happy to present you as our speaker. You're representing a group of colleagues from Italy, and you will talk to us about the reduce, reuse, and recycling. And I invite you to kind of start with your presentation.
So, as you said, I'm representing my group here in Italy. We have this project going on, and we are trying to understand how we can activate a circularity inside museum storages, mainly focused on exhibition fittings. So before starting, I would like to share with you some key terms that are very important to understand what it means to think about reusing and then recycling. We have as first term the prevention, which is trying to think in advance. So when designing a product, how to reduce in a minimum basis the use of primary material. So we try to reduce packaging, reduce raw materials to create some product that maybe live longer. The second one is reuse, which is very important to us because it's that, oh, I don't know why it's coming. Okay. Which is what we are looking for, which means our main objective is use without undergoing any transformation. Then we have recycling. Okay, you finish the used lifespan, it's at its end, so you have to recycle that material or element you're using. And the last one would be recovery, which is the waste is valorized and begins to serve other industry, other events. It starts to be an element for other products. So we started in 2020, little before the pandemic, so you can imagine, to try to map this attitude to reuse or recycling inside our region. So we sent this questionnaire to 2010 museums in the Lombardy region, and using mainly emails and the Facebook of ICOM Lombardy. And we had 56 good responses, which may seem a little number, but for us it was very important because the institutions that answered us were very significant inside the community. So we had a clear idea of what was going on here. Our research framework was the SDGs, 2030 SDGs, a classical, the European Green Deal, which is the strategy for reaching 2050 climate neutrality. Let's see, the European New Bauhaus, our Italian minimum environmental criteria, which are mandatory in tenders right now, and the project from Europa Nostra, ICOMOS, to integrate cultural heritage into climate action. For the European community, there are these regulatory frameworks that came out in a directive of 2008. And the priority was actions in waste management process to be followed at European level. So we have here again the key terms we saw before. Reuse and preparation for reuse is our main priority here. And then we have also disposal, which should be the last choice for us. So according to this directive, the reuse of goods must be the second most widespread action. For us, is the first one in the context of waste prevention actions. Okay, so this is the results of our survey. Mainly museums from municipal area were the respondents. And then we had foundations, some private bodies, associations, university, museum university, and religious bodies as well. What was already reused in their day-by-day life? Furnishing and showcases was the main fitting that was nominated. Then we have graphic and scenographic elements, interior signage, outdoor signs, banners, lighting elements. But here, the lifespan of a lighting element can be a little bit tricky. Multimedia and technological devices, and when technology comes, also there the lifespan is always difficult to get it longer. So then we had shelves, dummies, or just nothing. But the thing that made us think is that 51% of the equipment were disposed, equipment and fittings in general. 36% finished in internal deposits or external paid deposits. 2% went on sale, and 4% was just free external deposits. But the 51% really shocked us a lot, and this is a high percentage that can be changed. So could we find virtual examples inside Lombardy reality? Well, they said the main reasons for reuse and recycling was saving resources, raw materials, and energy, and that's okay. Cost savings, which is mandatory nowadays, and reduction of waste from disposal, health and environmental benefits. But it was very low interest in research and eco-innovation, networking, which our project aims to create, sustainability and education and ethics of recycling, just 3%, and 7% didn't specify why they try to reuse or recycle their fittings. The ongoing forms of circularity, and here we have other 52%, which is really huge and not acceptable. No any form going on at all. Then we had deposits or loan for use, donation, rental, loan, sale. Of course, loan for use here in our reality can go on between museums of the same system, let's say, while rental and sale happens just in private museums, private institutions. What were the opportunities we saw, and what are the vision strategies for us? So museums told us that they were interested in reusing, in a shared storage, and a loan possibilities. In the long term, what was mainly asked for was a possibility to have a database to gather all the information regarding what was available for using. So this is our main concern and idea for the future. Here, basic design was 12 answers about basic design, and that takes us back to prevention, which means if you have basic design well thought, you have more possibility to use in the future that fitting. And then we had recycling, supply chain facilitation actions, opportunities for exchange and sales, which is nowadays difficult, regional storage, which is very fashionable today, and 7%, three answers, just they didn't specify. So we identified also barriers to the realization of this circularity in our region. First of all, legal aspects. Who is the right holder of the exhibition design? In case, for example, an architect, an archista created this exhibition design, is he the right holder? Is authorization required for the reuse or recycling of those elements? Then we had also copyright. are exhibitions designed protected by the copyright law? Or do the contracts signed in advance between museums include the topic and possibility of a reuse? Museums and architects, of course. Then we had the administrative problems, which are boundaries and limits for reusing recycling imposed or by museum governance or by law itself. And so we went and checked the contracts, and we mainly focused on who is the right holder of the right of exploitation. Can this right be transferred? Do we need to ask for a consent for this transfer? So do agreements signed by museums provide a clause ruling for the reuse and the related issues? Sorry. If not, how are they dealing with this so far? And are the museum designs under copyright? If so, who is the right holder? And if there are many right holders, how this right is divided between creators, the entity, the architect. So we may not think about this if we talk about a light device or elements, but if there are like displays created by an architect, especially for one exhibition or one museum, this can be thought beforehand. So we had these administrative obligations here in Italy. The transfer of assets between public museums must be free of charge and for temporary use only. If you want to have a feasibility, circularity of exhibition fittings here, they have to take place between museums under the same system. And we signed this contract for this research with the Municipality of Milan, who has under his arms or wings 8 branches of museums. So we also had something happening between different bodies by means of a special free loan agreement, as recently happened between Saronno and Varese. But regarding Italy, a greater circularity could take place only between local museum systems right now. Of course, private museums and institutions have the right to do whatever they want with their fittings and have less constraints, more flexibility. Okay, so regarding economic and sustainable aspects, we identified some issues that should be taken care of. Environment, how much the transport between back and forth of places and fittings can affect the environment. At the end of their life, we still need to dispose of them. So how this thing may happen, and how much does the customization of a fitting may cost in terms of carbon footprint. So famous carbon footprint must be thought of when thinking about this kind of operation. Then we had transport and storage. We know that now it's very fashionable to have a central storage for everything. So how much it costs in terms of sustainability to transport these fittings around museums and central storage. Then we had this business model ownership. If in case of rental, who is this rental is granted to whom, and how are the costs of the customization, transportation, insurance, assembly of these fittings? How this is how can we deal with this problem, economical problem? And is it worth limiting the circularity among museums only? Would maybe be interesting to open it to libraries, archives, or other kind of institutions, just to reach more easily the benchmark. Maybe only museums it couldn't be interesting from the business model point of view. So we took a look at some foreign benchmarks for this application. And we had some interesting exchanges with ICOM, which is the International Committee for Architecture and Museum Techniques of ICOM. Then we got contact with the Museum Bund Oostenrijk, the Design Museum in London, who made an extremely interesting project. It started with an exhibition, The Waste Age, and they create a guide for sustainable exhibitions, projects, and design. Then we had some examples from Material for the Arts from the USA, in CCNL in the Netherlands, and the brand new, it's not inaugurated yet, but it's a very interesting project that is being developed in Poland. So going into the specifics of the form we created for the Municipality of Milan, we signed this agreement in 2023. In July, we had the definition of the form. In November 2023, we delivered to the municipality this form with the compilation manual, because we had to think about terminology, how to divide the form to be understandable for everybody. And in March 2024, we got the first results of the application of this new form we created. And the objectives were qualitative and quantitative mapping of unused assets for circularity activation, the verification of constraints, that those I told you before, administrative and contractual, planning, intellectual, etc., for work for the new regulations and contracts. And from the museographical and museological point of view, we wanted to underline or to construct a history of the installations we have in those storages. So this is some pages of the form we created. Then we have a lot of information, very in-depth information that may help museums to understand if what is available is good for them and still useful. And our next steps is the conclusion of the mapping of these good practices in public and private sectors, of course, publication of a white paper in order to explain our project and provide maybe guidelines for new regulations, presentations to local administrations, designers, manufacturers that may help us create good fittings that can be used, I wouldn't say forever, but for a long time, a long lifespan. Promotion of mapping projects, national and international level, hopefully. And finally, the feasibility check of the expansion of this research for studying new materials for new installations and fittings, hopefully with the help of universities and research centers. And this is some words about our research in our group that was created in 2019 by Lucia Pini and Maria Cristina Vannini. And I leave here our emails, just in case you may exchange some ideas with us or have experience in this kind of project. We would be very happy to listen from you and maybe create something together. This is R. We are coordinated by Laura Aldovini, which is a coordinator of ICOM Lombardia, and we have those other ladies with us. We are all women. And thank you for your attention. I maybe ran a little bit too much, but there are a lot of information I would like to deliver. So thank you for your attention.
Thank you very much for presenting us this very important project of ICOM Italy and the Lombardy region. I think it was very fascinating. You touched upon many questions that a lot of us probably are dealing with at the moment. Sustainability is a key theme, and we are asked to work on us. Therefore, I'm very grateful that you presented your project and also your research on it. There's time for questions.
You're all shy.
I'm
always shy
maybe
too.
I can ask a question. Did you also get in touch with the ICOM Working Group for Sustainability, which is now an international committee?
I don't understand. I couldn't understand.
Sorry. There has been a working group for sustainability in ICOM, which is since half a year an international committee. So did you also get in touch with them?
Yes, of course. And we're also in touch with the working group for storages management. And we are having now this conference in Paris at the end of October. And we are going to present and work with them as well. So yes, we are trying to get as much, connection as possible from outside Italy. We don't need to invent the road if it's already gone. So we are trying to share and contact as many and know as many research as possible. Yeah.
So I think there's a question by Daniela.
Thank you very much. I'm Daniela Picchi from the Archaeological Museum in Bologna. Your talk was very inspiring. Are you in contact with the other regional ICOM committee in Italy? Have you contact with them?
I didn't hear you very well, but I can tell you that we had a presentation. I did the presentation as well, as I remember, in Emilia-Romagna.
Yeah.
Right now, I can't remember the name of the conference, but we are in contact. And the curator of our group is Lucia Pini, which is nowadays in your region working there. So we had contact.
So with the project the reorg, I suppose, yes, for the storages,
well,
yes,
yeah.
Because we are involved in that project for the reorganization of the storages. So we are working, yes. So
yeah, and it's very important to reorg everything.
Yes, to reorg everything.
we have
materials. Yes.
Yeah, we have lots of fittings and things that we don't even know that is sitting there and can be used. So if you don't know, you can't use or protect things. So it's very good to try to reconnect everything. And the most useful thing, I guess, we should do here in Italy is this database and sharing the information as much as possible, together with a new regulation, because right now we have a lot of constraints, which doesn't help much the reuse of elements.
Thank you again. Thank you.
Thank you.
Are there any more questions? No.
Okay.
So maybe I can just, you ask for contacts, and actually in the German Museum Association, im Deutschen Museumsbund, there's a very, very active working group on sustainability, and it's run by an architect, and they have worked on similar issues. So if you're interested, check out the website of the Deutsche Museumsbund, Working Group Sustainability.
Let me take note. Deutscher
Museumsbund, Working Group, Arbeitsgruppe Nachhaltigkeit. But I'm sure I can find somebody who I can write down with your Italian colleagues to give you some contacts.
So I can forward the contacts. Yes.
Thank you. We would love to hear from outside. Yeah. So thank you. If you can just help us construct this bridge.
So thank you very much. It was a very interesting talk and a very important topic. So thank you for being with us.
Thank you for having us, and we hope really that your conference will be a success until the end. Thank you very much.